All right, Andrew Easton and Nick Ziegler back for part 3 of our 5-part remote learning framework. We're going to be talking a little bit about processing instruction. So when the students are processing that, and so that is in yellow here, part 3. Nick, go ahead and take it away.
Excellent. So it's in yellow because the process activity is directly tied to your instruction. We said with instruction, keep it short and sweet. We want to remember, be cognizant of that time on task. We recommended modeling during instruction. Now with the process activity, we want the kids to be able to answer the question, am I on the right track? Here again, we have to think a little bit about what context are you in? Are you in a synchronous model where you're engaging kids who are remote learning live in that Google Meet or that Zoom experience? Or is it an asynchronous experience where kids are accessing content online? Or is it asynchronous where kids are accessing your content offline? And so I know that there's a little bit of confusion potentially around those 3 different ideas. However, it again boils down to allowing students to answer that question, helping students answer that question, am I on the right path? That means they need some immediate feedback on whatever the little task is that we're asking kids to do. That might be, for example, in a synchronous experience, you've already modeled as part of your instruction. And now we're going to use Jamboard, for example, an interactive whiteboard where kids can get in no matter where they are, and they can answer a few questions and get some immediate feedback from you live. Let's think about that context where it's an asynchronous experience. So kids are going to access your content on their own time, at their own pace, and then they need to get some immediate feedback on maybe a quick set of questions that summarize the key points from the instruction. Maybe here you're engaging kids in an Edpuzzle-like experience, or maybe it's a Quizlet, or maybe some gamified experiences with something like, I don't know, a Blooket or something like that. A quiz is where kids can get that immediate feedback. If we're looking at an asynchronous offline experience, it becomes a little bit harder. That probably means that if we're giving kids those processing questions, maybe 5 questions, asking them to make sure that they have understood the instruction in that asynchronous offline experience, that looks a lot like giving them the answer key that they can check their answers against. The key here again is that kids know they're on the right track before they move deeper into that practice and then further on into the product experiences.
I love all that, and I think too a secondary benefit as well as the engagement piece, right? And so we're sometimes delivering instruction via Zoom, and cameras are off and audio's off, and we're wondering to what degree students are interacting with that, and it's really taken hold. And so it's great to have those kind of pieces for accountability and for engagement. And so look on this page for some of the tech resources that Nick referenced. We're trying to set you up with all the pieces you need to be able to facilitate this portion of that 5-step process. And so once you've done that, make sure that you move on to the next page, which is where you'll find our practice portion of this 5 steps. And we'll get into a deeper dive into that facet of the 5 parts of a remote learning framework.